Good afternoon, Virgo. Mm, I need you to listen to me with every fiber of your being right now. I need you to put down whatever is in your hands. I need you to close the door. I need you to make sure you are somewhere where you can hear me without distraction, without interruption, without the noise of the world diluting what I am about to tell you. Because what I am picking up in your energy field tonight is not a gentle nudge from the universe. It is not a soft whisper of guidance. It is a scream. It is a siren. It is the sound of spiritual alarm bells ringing so loudly through your aura that I almost couldn't tune in past the static. And what I found when I pushed through that static, what I saw when I forced my third eye to focus on the shadows moving around your periphery, made the blood drain from my face. I am not being dramatic for effect. I am not exaggerating to keep you watching. I am telling you the raw, unfiltered, terrifying truth of what is swirling around you right now. A tragedy is coming. But before you panic, before your heart starts racing with fear for yourself, you need to understand something absolutely critical. The tragedy is not yours to bear. The tragedy belongs to someone else. Someone who thought they could harm you. Someone who thought they could break you. Someone who has been standing in your circle, smiling in your face, calling you friend or family or colleague or lover, while secretly working to destroy you from the inside out. And that person, Virgo, that person has met their fate. They have encountered something they did not expect. They have come face to face with a force older, darker, and far more powerful than the petty malice they were foolish enough to direct at you. They have met a sorcerer, and that meeting has sealed their destiny. I want you to breathe with me for a second because I know what I just said is heavy. I know it sounds like something out of a nightmare. I know your logical mind is already trying to dismiss this, trying to tell yourself that I'm being theatrical, that this is just internet entertainment, that nothing this sinister could possibly be happening in your real everyday life. But Virgo, you know better. You have always known better. You are the sign that feels the room before anyone speaks. You are the sign that notices the micro expressions, the energy shifts, the subtle wrongness that everyone else ignores. You have been feeling it, haven't you? You have been feeling that something was off, that someone in your circle was not what they appeared to be, that there was a heaviness around you that you couldn't explain, that your sleep had been disturbed, that your dreams had turned dark, that you were experiencing streaks of bad luck so concentrated, so targeted, so personal that they felt almost orchestrated, that you were suddenly exhausted in ways that rest couldn't fix, that you were anxious without knowing why, that you were picking up on hostility that had no visible source, and you were right. You were absolutely right. Every instinct that told you something was wrong was your divine intuition protecting you. Every gut feeling that made you pull back from someone, every moment of doubt that crept in when you were around a specific person, every time you caught yourself wondering, why do I feel unsafe around someone who claims to love me? That was your soul recognizing danger that your conscious mind didn't want to believe existed. Because the truth, Virgo, the truth that I am seeing so clearly in your energy that it makes my hands tremble, is that there is someone in your immediate circle who has been actively, intentionally, methodically trying to harm you. And I am not talking about casual jealousy. I am not talking about someone gossiping behind your back or making a petty snide comment at dinner. I am talking about someone who wants to see you fall, someone who has been studying your weaknesses, someone who has been collecting information about your fears, your insecurities, your past wounds, your vulnerabilities, and using them like weapons. Someone who has been positioning themselves close to you not because they value you, but because proximity gives them power, because being near you allows them to feed off your light, because standing in your shadow, or rather forcing you to stand in theirs, gives them the sick satisfaction of controlling someone they know is better than them in every way that matters. This is not a stranger. This is someone you have trusted, someone you have confided in, someone who has sat at your table, slept in your home, held your secrets in their hands like precious stones while plotting to turn those stones into the bricks of your prison. And they have been good at it. They have been careful. They have been patient. They have worn masks so convincing that even you, with your razor-sharp intuition, have questioned yourself rather than questioning them. That is how insidious this energy is. That is how skilled they are at deception. That is how long they have been weaving this web around you, thread by invisible thread, hoping you wouldn't notice until you were so entangled that you couldn't move, couldn't breathe, couldn't escape. But here is where the story turns. Here is where the hairs on the back of my neck stand up and my voice drops to a whisper because I am speaking about things that exist in the spaces between worlds. Here is where I tell you that while this person was plotting your downfall, something else was watching, something else was listening, something else was tracking every malicious thought, every jealous glance, every dark intention they sent your way, and that something was not me. That something was not your spirit guides, though they have been vigilant. That something was not the universe in some abstract delayed karma kind of way. That something was a sorcerer, a real living, breathing wielder of ancient forces, a master or mistress of energies that most people don't believe in because they have never had to face them. A figure who moves in the hidden realms, who sees the invisible wars being waged between souls, who intervenes when the balance is threatened by human evil. I don't know if this sorcerer is someone you know personally. I don't know if they are a distant protector, a spiritual ally from a past life, a practitioner who was hired by someone who loves you, or a karmic agent who simply stepped in because the offense against you was so severe that it demanded immediate, dramatic correction. What I know, what I see burning like a black flame in your energetic field is that this sorcerer has already acted. The wheels have already turned. The spell work, the ritual, the invocation, whatever form this intervention took, has already been completed, and the person who tried to harm you has met their fate. Let me explain what I mean by met their fate, because I need you to understand the gravity of this. I am not saying they got a flat tire. I am not saying they lost their job or had a minor argument. I am saying that the energy they sent out has returned to them multiplied. I am saying that the darkness they tried to wrap around your ankles has coiled around their own throat. I am saying that the sorcerer who intercepted their attack did not simply block it, they redirected it. They sent it back along the exact same path it traveled, carrying with it the weight of every lie, every betrayal, every moment of envy-fueled hatred this person directed at you. And when that energy returned to its sender, it did not arrive gently. It arrived as judgment. It arrived as reckoning. It arrived as the inescapable consequence of playing with forces you don't understand in order to harm someone who was under divine protection. This person is experiencing a tragedy right now, Virgo. Even as you hear these words, their world is crumbling in ways they cannot explain. Their mind is turning against them. Their health is failing in mysterious ways. Their relationships are collapsing. Their finances are drying up. Their reputation is unraveling. They are looking at the ruins of their life, and they have no idea why everything is falling apart so fast, so completely, so violently. But you know, because I am telling you. It is because they touched what was not theirs to touch. They tried to destroy a divine being, and the universe does not negotiate with those who attack its own. I need you to sit with that for a moment. I need you to let it sink in that someone who pretended to care about you was so filled with darkness that they attracted the attention of a sorcerer. That is how bright your light is, Virgo. That is how significant your purpose is. The darkness doesn't bother with small souls. It doesn't waste its time on people who aren't threats to its agenda. The fact that someone went to these lengths to try to break you is not evidence of your weakness. It is evidence of your power. It is proof that you are carrying something so important, so transformative, so threatening to the forces of envy and mediocrity that they had to send someone close to you to try to neutralize you. You were never the victim in this story. You were the target. And there is a profound difference. A victim is someone who is destroyed by the attack. A target is someone important enough to be aimed at. You were aimed at because you matter. You were aimed at because your rise threatens people who want to keep the world small and dark and afraid. You were aimed at because your light, if fully unleashed, would illuminate corners that these people have spent their lives hiding in, and they couldn't allow that. So they sent one of their own into your camp. They sent a wolf in sheep's clothing. They sent a smiling assassin. And they thought you would never know. But Virgo, you are not defenseless. You have never been defenseless. You just didn't know the full extent of the armor you wear. You didn't know that your sensitivity, the very thing this person tried to use against you, is actually a spiritual radar that detects evil before it strikes. You didn't know that your anxiety, the sleepless nights, the feeling of being watched, the sudden chills, the unexplained dread that was your system alerting you to the presence of a predator in your midst. You didn't know that your tendency to overthink and analyze was actually your soul picking apart the inconsistencies in their performance, trying to show you the truth behind the mask. And most importantly, you didn't know that you have been under the protection of forces so powerful that they dispatched a sorcerer to handle what you should never have had to handle yourself. That is how loved you are. That is how valued you are. That is how non-negotiable your safety is in the eyes of the divine. They didn't send you a gentle warning. They didn't send you a sign to figure out on your own. They sent a sorcerer to make sure that the person who dared to harm you would be stopped completely, permanently, and decisively. That is the level of protection around you. And if that doesn't make you weep with relief and awe, then you don't yet understand who you are. Now, I need to talk to you about what happens next. Because a tragedy is coming, and it is going to be visible. The downfall of this person is not going to stay hidden in the shadows where they operated. It is going to become known. It is going to become public, at least within your shared circle. People are going to find out what they did. The mask is going to slip completely, or rather, it is going to be ripped off by the force of their own collapsing reality. Secrets they thought were buried are going to surface. Their lies are going to be exposed by circumstances beyond their control. The people they manipulated against you are going to see the truth. The alliances they built on deception are going to crumble. Their health crisis, their mental breakdown, their sudden, catastrophic loss, whatever form this tragedy takes, it is going to be undeniable. And when it happens, you are going to be faced with a choice, not a choice about whether to help them. You cannot help someone who tried to destroy you. You cannot save someone who was willing to drown you. You cannot extend compassion to a hand that was holding a knife behind its back. Your choice is about how you receive the news of their downfall. Your choice is about whether you allow yourself to feel guilty for surviving, whether you let your natural empathy trick you into thinking you should have done something to prevent their fate, whether you allow their tragedy to become your burden. And I am here to tell you, with every ounce of spiritual authority I have, that you will do none of those things. You will stand in your truth. You will let them reap what they sowed. You will watch their collapse with the steady, unblinking eye of someone who knows that justice has been served by powers greater than human courts. You will not mourn the snake that bit you. You will thank the universe for removing it from your garden. But there is more, because the removal of this person from your life is not just about protection, it is about preparation. The universe does not clear space around you for no reason. When a sorcerer intervenes to remove a malignant presence from your circle, it is because that space is needed for something monumental. Something is coming, Virgo. Something huge. Something that requires you to be unencumbered by the energetic weight of betrayal. Something that requires your full attention, your full power, your full light. I don't know exactly what it is yet. It could be a career explosion, a divine partnership, a spiritual awakening so profound it rewrites your entire understanding of reality, a mission that pulls you onto a global stage, a healing gift that finally activates after years of dormancy. But whatever it is so big that the universe could not allow this person to remain in your field, poisoning your water, draining your battery, whispering doubts into your ear at the exact moments when you needed clarity most. They had to go. And because they refused to leave willingly, because they clung to you like a parasite, because they escalated their attacks rather than retreating, the universe sent a sorcerer to make the extraction final. That is how serious your next chapter is. That is how non-negotiable your elevation is. The forces that protect you are not playing games. They are not issuing second chances to those who try to destroy their chosen ones. They are removing obstacles with supernatural efficiency. And you, Virgo, are one of their chosen ones. Whether you accept that title or not, it is yours. I want you to understand the mechanics of what happened, because I think it will help you sleep better at night. I think it will help you release the last of the fear you've been carrying. When someone directs sustained malice toward a person of light, and make no mistake, you are a person of light, even when you feel broken, even when you feel lost, even when you feel ordinary, they create a cord, an energetic cord that connects their lower chakras to your field. Through this cord, they siphon your energy. They dump their toxicity into your system. They send you their fears, their nightmares, their illnesses, their bad luck, their despair. They literally try to trade places with you energetically, to make you carry their burdens while they bathe in your light. This is not metaphor. This is how dark attachments work. And this person had been feeding through that cord for a long time, months, maybe years. You felt it as exhaustion you couldn't shake, as sadness that made no sense, as a sense of being stuck despite your best efforts, as a fog around your mind that made decisions impossible. That was not your energy. That was theirs, pumped into you through a connection you didn't know was vampiric. But here is what they didn't count on. Here is what they could not see because their arrogance blinded them. Your light is not just light. It is protected light. It is consecrated light. It is light that has been claimed and guarded by forces older than their petty human jealousy. And when they pushed too hard, when they got too greedy, when they tried to collapse your entire energetic structure so they could consume what was left, they triggered a failsafe. They tripped an alarm in the spiritual realm, and that alarm summoned the sorcerer. I don't know the sorcerer's name. I don't know if they are male or female, old or young, near or far. What I see is a figure robed in shadow, but radiating authority. Someone who does not blink when looking into the abyss because the abyss knows better than to blink back. Someone who works with the laws of karma the way a master surgeon works with a scalpel, precise, deliberate, irreversible. This sorcerer did not curse your enemy in the way your enemy tried to curse you. That is not how true power works. True power doesn't need to create new darkness. True power simply removes the protection that darkness hides behind and lets the truth do the rest. This sorcerer dismantled the shields your enemy had built through their lies. They unraveled the glamour that made this person appear trustworthy. They turned the energy of the attack back on the attacker with the simple, elegant justice of a mirror reflecting sunlight into the eyes of someone who has been hiding in caves. And now your enemy is blinded. Now they are exposed. Now they are feeling the full heat of what they tried to send your way. And there is no antidote. There is no reversal. There is no spell they can buy or prayer they can say that will stop what is coming, because the sorcerer did not impose this fate. The sorcerer simply allowed their own actions to become their destiny. That is the tragedy, Virgo. The tragedy is not that an innocent person suffered. The tragedy is that a guilty person finally faced the consequences of their guilt. And that tragedy, while sad in the abstract, is necessary. It is holy. It is the universe cleaning its house. You need to prepare yourself for the aftermath. Because when this person's life collapses, and it will collapse, I see it crumbling like a sandcastle in a tide they cannot outrun. People are going to turn to you. Some of them are going to want you to explain. They are going to sense intuitively that you knew something they didn't. They are going to ask you questions. They are going to watch your reaction. And you must be steel wrapped in silk, Virgo. You must be compassionate on the surface, but unmovable at your core. You do not owe anyone an explanation for your survival. You do not owe anyone a performance of grief for someone who tried to destroy you. You do not need to justify your boundaries, your distance, your silence, or your sudden lack of availability to this person before their downfall. You simply need to stand in your power, to let your energy speak louder than your words, to know that the same intuition that warned you about this person is the same intuition that will guide you through the social and emotional minefield of their exposure. Trust it. Trust it more than you have ever trusted anything. It has not failed you. It saved you. I also need you to cleanse. I need you to understand that even though the cord has been severed by forces beyond your comprehension, even though the sorcerer has handled the heavy spiritual lifting, there is residue. There is energetic debris in your field. There are fingerprints on your soul. There are frequencies in your home, in your bedroom, in your car, in your phone that belong to this person and their malice. You need to purge them. You need to wash your sheets with intention. You need to open your windows and let the wind carry away what is not yours. You need to take salt baths and visualize gray smoke leaving your pores. You need to delete messages, photos, anything that keeps their energy tethered to your space. You need to change your passwords if they ever had access to your accounts. You need to physically remove any gifts they gave you, because gifts from enemies are Trojan horses. Burn them, bury them, throw them in running water, or simply throw them in the trash with the firm declaration that nothing they touched has power over you anymore. And then you need to fortify. You need to strengthen your aura so that nothing like this can ever attach to you again. You do this not by building walls of fear, but by building walls of light. By raising your frequency so high that low vibrations cannot resonate with you. By becoming so authentically, blindingly yourself that there is no crack in your foundation for a parasite to slip through. And here is the most important part, Virgo. Here is what I need you to carry in your heart like a burning coal that warms you instead of hurting you. You won. You didn't win by fighting. You didn't win by scheming. You didn't win by lowering yourself to their level. You won by being exactly who you are. You won because your light was too true to be extinguished. You won because the universe does not abandon its own. You won because somewhere in the hidden realms, a sorcerer looked at the map of spiritual warfare and decided that you were worth defending with extreme prejudice. That is not luck. That is legacy. That is the inheritance of every good deed you have ever done, every tear you have ever cried for someone else, every time you chose love over revenge, every time you held your tongue when you could have destroyed someone, every time you got back up when life knocked you down. All of that goodness accumulated, all of that light compounded, and it became a fortress around you, so impenetrable that when evil came knocking, it didn't just bounce off, it was annihilated. That is who you are. That is what you carry. And the tragedy that is coming for your enemy is simply the echo of that truth. So breathe, Virgo. Breathe deep and slow. You are safe. You have always been safe, even in your most terrified moments. The worst that could have happened didn't happen because you were never alone. The person you feared was already defeated before they threw their first punch. The nightmare you sensed lurking in your peripheral vision has been dragged into the light and burned to ash by hands that work in mysteries you don't need to understand. You don't need to meet the sorcerer. You don't need to learn their ways. You just need to accept their protection. You just need to walk forward knowing that the space behind you has been cleared by fire and the path ahead of you has been illuminated by that same flame. The tragedy is not yours. It never was. It belongs to the darkness that tried to swallow you and choked on your light instead. Let them fall. Let them face what they earned. Let the universe finish what it started, and you rise. You rise cleaner, lighter, freer, and more powerful than you have ever been. Because the circle that tried to harm you has been broken, and what is broken cannot hold you back anymore. If you felt the truth of this message vibrating in your bones, if you know exactly who I am talking about, if you felt a chill of recognition when I described their mask, I need you to claim this protection right now. Drop a comment below and write, "I am shielded." Let the universe record your declaration. Let the sorcerer know their work is acknowledged. And if this reading found you at the exact moment you needed it, subscribe for more messages that cut through the darkness and speak directly to what is real. You are safe now. You are free now, and nothing that tried to harm you will ever touch you again.